As the War of Realms rages on, the agents of Wakanda will have to do everything in their power to defend the Avengers homestead. All this and more in the pages of Avengers issue number 19. Let's hop on in together, shall we? Alrighty then, so this story actually begins a bit before the actual events of War of Realms kick off. It's made very clear that we're not going to be following the main AAA heroes this time, but instead the boots on the ground who make all the magic happen, namely Ken Hale, aka the strange and wonderful Gorilla Man. T'Challa, the Black Panther, had recently made Gorilla Man head of security for the Avengers' new celestial base of operations. Moreover than that, he's been given the duties of dealing with Avengers spies. Like Ursa Major of the Winter Guard, yeah, the aggro werebear man, turns out he's actually been working for the Avengers the whole time, and getting kicked out by Black Panther at that big meeting of the superhero minds was just to further sell his cover. Hale's trying to get as much information from Major as he can about what went down with Dracula and the Red Widow, but it's around this time he gets the call from his partner Kazar about Malekith's forces touching down in New York City. And seriously, Gorilla Man and Kazar, how is that not the next great buddy picture? I would watch that 1,000,000 times. Now, when Gorilla Man actually does return to Avengers HQ, everything is in absolute chaos right now. All the heroes have jobs to do, strike forces they need to report for duty at, and he just has to try and keep everything from falling apart. All the while, Hale actually gets over his undying respect for all the different members of the Avengers, how, you know, Black Panther is strong and resolute and a little scary sometimes, and how Captain America, you know, is so trustworthy and upright. Being next to these gods amongst men, Gorilla Man admits that he sometimes feels a little inferior, but it also pushes him that much harder to do his job and do it right, like help Black Panther get the celestial weapon systems online to repel an attack of Dark Elves. Now, if you had read issue 4 of War of Realms, you'll know that Black Panther and his sister Shuri seemingly managed to push back this whole Dark Elf attack in about a couple pages, but as we find out here in this tie-in, they wouldn't have been able to do it were it not for the work of Gorilla Man actually getting deep in the guts of the alien Celestial and hooking up all the different cables, while at the same time having his own fight with Dark Elves who popped on in thanks to the power of the Black Bifrost. Hale also reiterates this issue more or less his origin story, and that is kill the Gorilla Man and live forever. Oh, true, you'll be immortal, so to speak. That is to say, whoever kills you just becomes the next Gorilla Man. Repelling all these attempts on his life, though, has made Hale incredibly tough, and because of that, he's able to beat back the Dark Elves and hook up the weapon system so Black Panther can seemingly save the day. However, being so close to the Celestial when the blast goes off ends up having some unforeseen circumstances for Gorilla Man. The Celestial is seemingly not 100% dead. It talks to him and actually gives him some very important information about where Roxxon is hiding out. Gorilla Man is not used to hearing the voices of gods in his head, and when he gets taken to the infirmary later next to none other than Odin, the king of the Asgardian gods, old One Eye lets him know that if a god is talking to you, then that probably means something really important and that you should listen. Still, even after this pep talk, Gorilla Man ends up being conflicted, and we soon find out exactly why. It seems that he has been trying to break his curse, even if that means throwing in with dark forces like the ones that represent Dracula. Hale might love and respect the Avengers like he says, but if it means ending his horrible curse, well, it looks like he's going to screw them over to get that done, but more on that another time as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Avengers issue number 19, everybody. A fun little spotlight for a character that doesn't normally get a lot of spotlight. Is it necessary reading for the War of Realms? Certainly not. But it might just be important reading for what Jason Aaron is going to do next in Avengers, so, you know, if you definitely want to be up to speed on what's going on there, then yeah, I would say pick this one up. You won't be too disappointed. Ultimately, I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, hey there, didn't see you come in. I'm Cape Joel. Thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. I'm just hanging out here trying to figure out how to keep these intros fresh and interesting for everybody. Like the video, that would be nice. I'd appreciate it, but I'm not going to push you to do it. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you can keep up to date on what I'm doing next. I have an Instagram. I feel like I don't push the Instagram enough, but I have it. I have a backup gameplay channel as well. I get the feeling people who watch my comic content don't really want to watch me play video games. At least that's what the numbers would tell me. But it's the Joel Daily channel. You can also see me play games live on the Cape Joel Twitch. I got a tip jar down there. I got a Patreon page. got an Amazon wish list. Some of you were really nice to do that for me. That's where I get fun, cool sweaters like this off my Amazon wish list. I appreciate the people who do that. It's really nice of them. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Man, it's hard to try and keep these outros fresh sometimes, I tell you. But thanks again for watching, and I'll be back again later, just smacking those comics up, man. Just doing it. Did I call it comic smack because I make the smack sound, or am I saying that comics are my addiction, and that's why it's comic smack? I dropped the comic smack after a bit because the channel is called Cape Joel. I should really have called it all comic smack from the beginning of with. Oh, well, hindsight's 20/20. Goodbye, everyone.